Okay, hi, this is Mike again, and today I'm going to look at a tutorial for the Ed Sheeran song I See Fire, which is a favourite of mine. And basically how I'm going to teach this song is I'm going to try and break the licks down as slowly and smoothly as possible and just get on with them so that you just get the riffs and hopefully no wasted minutes, because otherwise this video might take a long time. So the intro of the song, this is the way I do it. I'll have to say perhaps I could have studied his own live video a little bit more, but what I do I think fits the song really nicely, and we'll find out if that's true or not. So basically I start with finger 1 here on fret 2 of the G string, and I should have mentioned, of course, capo at fret 6 on a normal tune guitar, not drop G or anything, just normal tune guitar. So I've got finger 1 there, and then what I'm going to do is something I call unison picking, where I'm going to use the thumb, and in this case finger 2, to flick the G string. I'm going to play them at the same time. And I'm going to, as I do that, as the notes ring, I'm going to try and hammer on to this fret, fret 4, back to fret 2, and then off to 0. And by the way, this is because this is normal capo speak. I know that this is fret 8 and 10, for instance. But when you've got your capo on, just in case you're new to capo land, you generally think as if it's like an open, that's the nut of the guitar and it's just moved up. At least that's how most people think about it. I do anyway. Right, so anyway, let's get on with this first riff. I'm gonna try that hammer on while the other one's still ringing. Okay, could have been. So that's what we're looking for. Then after that, flick on to fret 2 of the D string. And this is the trickiest part of the whole riff, which I'll show you more up to speed in a minute, is then landing in simultaneously as you've landed it on here to a C major 7, at least it would be if you were playing down at the open tuning. And I use what I call a clawing technique. Again, this is all the way I do it. I hope it's similar enough to Ed Sheeran for you. And I use a clawing technique, in which case I've got the thumb allocated to the A string, finger 1 to the D, and so on. You can see it's finger 2, finger 3 ending up on the B. I pluck them all together, then slam on finger 1 to make a C chord afterwards. So you get that sound. And that's the first half of his opening riff, which I'll do that now before we get lost in the next bit. So it flows along a little bit more like this. And I'll have to say that the rhythm he does on this little pull-off, I'll explain the differences. You'll hear a couple of subtle differences in the song. At least I do. I think he plays a little bit more free time on the very first one, but then it settles down to a nice even 16th note or semi-quaver rhythm, however you want to think of it. So the first one, it comes out a little bit faster, and then after that it will settle down into a 1 E and a 2 and. Right, the other thing you'll hear a lot of in this song, in between some of these riffs, is like percussive slaps against the strings. And when I put all the riffs together, I'll show you where they are. There is one immediately at this part of the song. And then that takes us to the second half of the intro. Again, the way I do it, it's like a part of it's not quite a full D chord the way I think it sounds. I think he's saving up these brighter notes for the bigger moments of the song. So I play it a bit more mellow by just these 3 strings. So I use a 3-string clawing technique, beginning on the D string, and then the G string and the B string. I'm going to pick the 3 together and slam on finger 1 again. He does a lot of that in this song, just slamming on fingers in chords. Then he picks 2 other notes. He gets, you get that in the song. A little slap, and I like to play a delicate E minor, trying to leave that string out of it. It keeps it mellower, and I strum that one. So if we were to put the whole intro riff together, it would be this. I think I heard a bit too much of that E string there, but other than that, it's not too bad. Okay, now that takes us to the verse. And the verse is played really mellow all the time. Now you get 3 verses and they're all played pretty much the same, I think. So if I just explain it once, and when there's another verse, I'll say there's another verse riff. I think it's a really mellow E minor again. And he sort of seems to me as if he might flick, more mellow than that, but flick that B string before jumping to I like to think of it as a low G. I personally don't hear the bright notes coming in there yet. So I just strum this part of a G chord, the first 5 strings. And then it's another hammer on, what I call a hammer on move to the D. And then he does the same as another 3-note clawing technique on the lower part of a C chord. So I think it's the A and the D and the G string and slam on finger 2 this time. I think that's quite a nice sound. I'll do this part of the riff together. Slam onto the D, slam onto the C. Then he goes around again with the E, flick that B string to G, slam onto the D, and then strum an A minor 7. As much as possible, trying to keep this string at least quiet and not ringing too loud. You'll find that he repeats the first section again, so I might as well just do it. It's taking you to the G, slam onto the D, and to the slam onto the C, low C, low part of the C. And to finish off, he goes into and then a nice A minor 7. And as far as I can hear, it's definitely just made that note ring out at the top. Then I call this G over B. And again, because I can hear quite clear in the song that section go. So. And then another low C. They're also punctuated with those slaps in the real time of the song. Okay, and you chuck that on the end. That takes you, he will do one more of that intro riff. At this point, it'll be the last time you hear it in the song. Then you get another verse. So I've just done the verse, so I'll skip onto that. That takes us up to the first time you hear the chorus riff. I have to say I'm not 100% sure the way he plays it, in the sense he plays it really mellow, and so I just find a good way to do it. I'll explain the chords. It's just to play it as mellow as possible. It fits the song well. You know, I may be missing a subtlety that he's doing. I'm not 100% sure. But basically it's E minor 7. And you can just about hear that note if you listen to the song. It's being brushed in, which is why I think it's that E minor 7. And that's 022-033. And then it goes to C, add 9. And that's, try not to hit that string. Then it's 3-2-0-3-3. Then it's D. It's very mellow in the song. You can hardly hear these notes on this string, but. And then it takes you back to the E. And he does that 3 times. So it goes around again. Just playing it as mellow as I can, really. And there's another one. He does it 3 times. And then the 4th time begins again like the others. E to C. D to A minor 7 to finish. And then you get 2 more really mellow cycles on that. So it's just E. And I'm even leaving out the top note because it's so mellow at this point. You get a little interlude. I've forgotten what it is now. It's something like cellos or something playing in the background. So it's just the E minor 7 to G, C, sorry, add 9, D, to, and then you get the 3rd verse. So again, I'll skip that now, and then that takes you to the first time you get the bigger chorus, and the 2nd and 3rd chorus are played like this. It's the same chords I did in that mellow chorus. So it'll go from E minor 7 to C add 9 to D, and back to E minor 7 again. But he's got this rhythm going on, which is down, down, up, down, up, down. And then sort of strum something like down, up, down, up, down afterwards on that chord as well. When I put it all together, it makes sense. But it is basically, I'll do it as slow as I can. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. Okay, so. Okay, he does that 3 times and then finishes the 4th time with that A minor 7. Now here is an interesting part of the song. I keep time with the song while doing it this way. I think of it as a 5-beat interlude. When he lands on that chord, I found that the way I managed to get it to connect up well was when I land on that chord, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before going back to a very mellow E minor 7. If you notice, if you listen to the song, it's very delicately played, so I keep this note out of it again for that reason. And again, I find I play 5 beats here, and I play what's known as a galloping rhythm. It's down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. 5 beats, if I think I did 5 there. So perhaps if I do the last cycle of that chorus all the way through with that 5 count, it might make sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5. That takes us to the last riff of not the last riff that you'll hear in the song, but the last new riff. It's got the same rhythm as the chorus, and it will go from chords A minor 7 to E minor 7. E minor, sorry. Then G, I play it this way because you really hear the note in the D break out here. So I try to keep the G a bit mellower, keep it there to go to the on the D. So you've got the A minor 7 and he does the riff 3 times, 2 more. Here's the 3rd time. Down, down, up, down, up, down. And then this final circuit is all downstrokes in my opinion, and it's the count is it's got a G over B in there again, and it comes in on beat 4 of this bar. So you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then C and D, and that takes you to the final riff of the song, which is the chorus again. And this time it's a double length chorus. You just go around 8 times instead of 4. 1. Okay, and you do 8 of those, but instead the 8th one will finish on the A minor 7 instead. That should be all you need to know to get that song sounding pretty fluent against that song. Okay, and that's my tutorial for the Ed Sheeran I See Fire song. And check out my YouTube, youtube.com/guitar studies, and or facebook.com/guitar studies for hopefully plenty more forthcoming in the future.